Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Sensi Speaks Life Without the Filter, where we wake up the wisdom, confront the truth, and learn the lessons that help us grow into our best selves. Let's get right into it today. This is season 1, episode 7, where I have a special guest, and we're going to talk about time management and balance, which I believe is needed right now more than anything. But a couple of things before we get into that. My name is Paula Bell. For those who may not know who I am your host for today's episode. And this episode is sponsored by Urban Experience Magazine, an Iowa-based organization that provides articles, that promotes conversation, that empowers and provides information with the pursuit to become Iowa's largest African-American news networking company by setting the gold standard of excellence in journalism. I can't talk today for some reason. Local publishing and information. So thank you to Dwana Bradley and the Urban Experience Magazine team for sponsoring this episode. I also need to give a couple of disclaimers before we jump into this much needed conversation. I am not a therapist and will not offer any medical advice. I am not trained, qualified, or able to diagnose or treat any form of mental illness or disorder. Some topics may be triggering, so please take space if need be. Please interact via chat or comments. If you have questions, post them in the chat as we may be able to answer them live for you. And also subscribe to the Life Coach Sensei YouTube channel. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts labeled Sensei Speaks Life Without the Filter. But without further ado, let's jump right in. Today, I am joined by my dear friend, Abena Sankofa Imhotep, who is also a podcaster, author, and wears many more hats than just that. Hence, the perfect guest for this episode. However, this episode is going to be a little bit different than any other episodes you've probably watched. Today, Abena and I will have a conversation on the topic of time management and balance as two women having conversation as if we were eating lunch at a restaurant. So please, again, if you are watching live, ask any questions you desire and comment in the chat. And without further ado, I would love to bring on the queen and my good friend, Abena Sankofa.
Hey, Paula. No, you're the queen. You're the queen.
We're both queens.
Good. It's good to be with you.
I know, right? For fellow podcasting, it's so different when you end up being the person who's kind of a part of the podcast instead of being the host of the podcast. So it is kind of different, but I love these sort of shows. So I'm excited for what we're going to talk about today, which
Me
is a very
too.
needed.
I think more than anything, I need this more than anybody. This conversation level set me. I'm looking forward to learning from you because how you manage your entire world is so intriguing. It's like you should be a case study on this.
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot. You know, the question I get asked all the time is, do I sleep?
That's literally my question. I wrote that down for you.
Do I sleep? Okay, so I'll just start off like that. Yes, I do sleep. And believe it or not, I get 6 to 7 hours a night. I'm not. I am not. I get 6 to 7 most times. And so here's the thing.
Is this 6 to 7 consecutive hours or is it like small
That's
increments?
A good question. So, you know, it really depends on, that's a very good question. It really depends on the night because there are some nights where I wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and my brain just be racing with some sort of idea or something. And I cannot go back to sleep until I literally do something with that. I have to write it down. I have to put it in my phone. I have to do something with it. But most nights, yes, it's consecutive. I try to literally be in bed asleep by 10 and wake up at 6 to work out. I do. I try. I'm not always successful, but I do try to do that. And so to your question on how do I do this, you know, it's really, for me, you don't really manage time. You manage your decisions.
Oh, okay. Nugget.
So if you think about it, right, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. And I'm a multifaceted being, like you said. I have a business, but my business is tiered. So I have multiple little businesses inside of my overall umbrella business. And so people, when they see me out on social, when they see me in other places, they think I'm doing like a million things. But I've intentionally made decisions on where I'm going to plant myself and how much time I'm going to give. So though it might look like it's a lot to someone else, and it might be, I'm real strategic and intentional on where I put my time. And I'm doing a lot more of that this year, probably more than any other year. And if you think about it, not everything requires the equal amount of time. So me speaking, that is, if I have to do a presentation, that's multiple weeks of me prepping and preparing and then
I
delivering.
know so well. Yeah.
Exactly. Versus if I have to do a fitness event, I already know what I'm going to do. All I have to make sure is I have my equipment, I have my playlist, and I show up. It's different preparation than speaking or delivering a training or doing consulting work where I have to do prep work and potentially have the client do prep work. So again, to me, time management is less about the time and more about the decisions that you're making in order to do that work.
That's so interesting to me. So as you talk about the multiple different facets of your businesses, I find for me, because I have several that interlink like that too, and I need a minute in between the different parts of my work in order to reset. Do you have that too, where you need to reset, and what does that look like for you?
Girl, yes. I do. Who do I?
Because you seem to just move so seamlessly, and I'm like, how in the world is she do? What kind of vitamins is that? So, like, what does your reset moment look like?
So here's an example of typically what tends to happen to me is, let's take a Saturday. So there was a Saturday where I had to do I was teaching step classes. So that's a different sort of energy that I'm using to teach step classes, right? Then after that, I had to go work with some youth for an event. And then that evening, I was representing my sorority, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I was representing my sorority at another event, right? So those are three very different things, three very different hats. And yes, for me, I decompress. So even after I'm done speaking, there are people who will come up to you and want to talk to you. That's just the nature of speaking. Something maybe you said compelled them. But if you watch me really closely, after that settles down, I go away somewhere and I need to decompress for like a good 10, 15, because that's a lot of energy I just gave out, a lot of energy I dispensed, right? For example, when I did fitness at I'll Make Me a World, I had already taught a 90-minute step class because that was our last class at the John R. Grubb YMCA.
Oh my goodness, that's right.
Yes, it closed. Yes, it closed on Saturday. I know, it's so sad, girl.
What
It's so
what
sad.
an iconic place. We'll get to
Right?
that though, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that part too, because that one that hit the soul. But I did 90 minutes, and now I've got to go up on stage for another 20 at a whole different event, whole different audience, and give you another 20 minutes, and I'm already spent. Right? I pulled out everything I had to do that. And then I'm gonna tell you, when it was over, I got in my car, I went to Starbucks.
I know that's right.
I went and got me a refresher. I said I need to decompress because I had something else going on that evening. So I said I need to decompress for a minute. And I was just in my car by myself, listening to music, drinking my little Starbucks in my happy space before I had to go home and take a shower and get ready for whatever the next thing was that I was going to, which I can't even remember at this point in time. But it was something else that I had to do that same day. So for me, I do decompress, but I have to disappear to do it. Because if I stay within the audience, I will never leave. People will grab you, want to talk to you, all of that. And sometimes I even have an assistant with me. My assistant will push me to the side and be like, okay, we need to go decompress for a minute.
I love that idea of an assistant. So, okay, you're giving me tips. I'm
Okay.
taking notes. Thank you.
Okay.
I need an assistant. And I say
You
this
need an
because I
assistant.
want to do everything. I know I can't do everything.
Yeah.
So I do what I can and I try to do it well. If I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if I feel like I am going to not do something well, then I'll lean back from it. I don't want to be mediocre, right? So it's about what can I get accomplished and have it be well done rather than doing 72 different mediocre things, you know?
That's true. That's true. So when you think about it and you think about all the different things that you do, Right. And maybe tell the audience a little bit about what you do actually before I ask you this next question. So they have an idea of how multifaceted you are as well. I'm not the only one on here that's multifaceted.
Thank you for that space.
Hmm.
I absolutely love what I do. So I'm the CEO of Sankofa Literary and Empowerment Group, which means I'm a worker bee. And the point of it all is to create lifelong learning spaces and encourage literacy, whether that means the kind of literacy that's traditional in that thought of, reading, comprehending, being able to sound words out, all of that, and then reading the world we live in as we get older and more mature. So literacy across a gamut of understanding. And so what that looks like is book spaces, community libraries. That's our chief goal right now, is to establish several community libraries, and we have two, working on a third. It also looks like some programming for youth. It looks like teaching facilitators how to run book clubs. It looks like a lot of different things. Alongside of that, kind of in parallel, I am a writer by vocation. So I write, I've written a children's book, working on two more, writing on Substack, my Substack platform, the Imhotep Report, and then just writing for fun, just because, journaling like crazy. And then in my mind, part of writing is reading. So those two things go hand in hand, although people, again, will see it from the outside looking in, thinking it's a bunch of different stuff going on, but no, it's one conversation. And then I
Mm.
also have Black and Privileged in America podcast, as you alluded to earlier. I'm sure there's more that I do that I'm not mentioning right now, but we'll just leave it there.
So as you talk about all the different things that you do, and you asked me, how do I ebb and flow? Do you believe that balance actually exists, or do we just redefine it over time? What do you think?
Well, I love the idea of, like you said, managing your decisions.
Hmm.
That's really important to me. I heard a guy say on a video I was watching over the weekend that it is the kinds of things we say yes to. So I've begun to be really selective about my yeses, part because there's so many necessary no's. Like, you have to say no to certain stuff. For me, it's about alignment. Is it something that aligns with my purpose, the work I'm currently doing? Is it going to help elevate or advance a message that I support? What is that all about? So if it aligns with purpose and the work, then I will consider a yes. But just being really selective with my yeses, and I'm going to ask those questions, those tough questions of myself. And then I've got some elders who speak wisdom to me, and I may go to them and say, okay, this is the plate I'm working with. Is this a balanced diet? What is it? Can you help me understand my thoughts around the next step? This is what I'm thinking. So yeah, I try not to make decisions alone. It's really important to me to be in community with some of my decisions. I mean, of course, I'm going to have the final say, but it's important to me to be inclusive with some of the work that I do and some of the decisions I have to make. So that helps. But
Hmm.
still, Black History Month had me running ragged. So I found myself, um, I think I did 12 or 13 events in rapid succession. And I knew it was coming because that's just the time of year when the work I do is in most demand, that those kind of around those themes. So I knew that was coming, but this time it just hit hard. And so I'm learning how to, at this point, like you said, decompress. I'm learning how to just sit down right now and recollect, kind of collect myself.
That's so interesting you said that. So I totally 100% agree that balance is about alignment. But there's something else you said in there too. Balance is also seasonal, because I feel that you see, here's the thing. A lot of people see me popping up a lot now in 2025, 2026. Paula went MIA for a few years ago, because I needed to take a
Did you?
moment. I did. And you know how I know that I did? because a dear friend of mine mentioned it to me when we were at lunch on Friday and said, I remember us having this conversation, it was like a couple years ago, where you were like a little bit missing in action. I wasn't as active. And the reason I wasn't as active was because I needed a minute to re-energize myself and fill up my cup. What tends to happen with individuals like you and me, you can tell me if I'm wrong. We have generous hearts. We're all about service. We're all about making community better. We're all about helping people. And what a lot of people I don't think understands is how much energy that takes. And a lot of times we aren't reciprocated back with the same energy. So what tends to happen, for me anyway, and I'm being 100% vulnerable, I give a lot of myself in many different spaces. I give a lot of my talents in many different spaces. And not everything I do has a dollar amount assigned to it. Some of it I do because I just have a passion for that work, and that's what I want to do. But what I've also found out, and this has been throughout my life, from when I was a child, when I was an early adult to now, not that I'm a late adult or anything like that, but as I think about the milestones of my life, I have not had anyone that I can think of, or if I have, it's been a handful of people that have given back the same level of energy and generosity that I have put in. And so sometimes I've sat back and I've wondered about that. So am I doing too much then? Am I giving too much of myself? Am I allowing people to use me? Am I allowing people to take advantage of me? Am I not respecting my own value, my own worth, my own time? And I realized the answer came to me very clear when I took that time out. No, the reason I am the way I am is because that's how I've been conditioned to be, depending on what I'm doing. But it can also get very, very lonely. So what I had to figure out was, how do I balance not only my time, but balance my mind, body, and soul? There's sometimes I have to shut off. There's sometimes I have to only be around certain people. There are sometimes I need a moment. It's very interesting because I'm such a motivator and inspirer, right? The minute I don't do something, it gets a little bit of notice, right? If I'm silent, Paula, something is wrong. Nothing's wrong at all. I'm just silent because I'm just digesting. There's nothing wrong.
That's
I
because
don't always
you
have to be
have
the
that.
energy
You're
in the room.
absolutely right. You are an inspirer and a motivator. And when you maybe retreat just a moment to kind of do what you do to rejuvenate yourself, the whole world misses that. So how do we teach them to do it for themselves? Like, people have to be empowered to do that for themselves. Because I refuse. I mean, I'm an introvert, contrary to popular belief. It takes me a long time to recharge my
Mm-hmm.
social battery, but I've come to the conclusion that I have to take a stand on certain things, and I refuse to abandon myself. So how do we empower our audiences, our clients, our networks to be that for themselves as well?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know if I have the answer for that one, because people have said to me before, well, Paula, I don't want to reach out to you because I know you're really busy. Well, don't do that, because if I got to talk you off a ledge, and you talk you off a ledge, I mean, don't do that. I have put boundaries in place to help people know how to reach out to me. The chances of you getting me on a Sunday is very slim, because I need a day to just do my meal prep, get myself together for the week and whatnot. So I think some of it is the boundaries that we put in place, that then people know that either you're going to have to fend for yourself, or you're going to have to figure this, you have to figure out, you have to plan accordingly if you need our support or our help. Why it's hard for me is because of the nature of the work that I do, right? I do a lot of life coaching, a lot of career coaching, and things pop up out the blue. So you can't always dictate when something is going to happen, like when you're needed. And hence the reason I do boundaries. But I do put into place too, I'm not going to enable you. So if I feel like it's getting to a point where you're just coming to me because I can enable you and give you all the answers, that's a problem. I'm going to give you the tools and the resources to do it. And then when you come to me, I'm going to put it back on you as your own accountability. Right. I think some of it's hard because of the nature of just how we are as people and what we do. So I don't know if I have a great answer for that outside of just putting boundaries in place. And if you see a pattern of a person being too dependent on you or needing you too much, the way you approach the conversation and the way you help might need to change. But boundaries to me is a big thing. Is a big thing. And some things are going to change this year. You're going to see I don't move very loudly. I do drop stuff on social when it's time. But a lot of times people don't understand how many years I've been working on something for it now to come to fruition. A lot of what people are seeing happening to me in 25, 26 started in 2006. And it's been something that I've been working on. They didn't see all the doors shut, right? They didn't see all of the issues that I went through, all of the challenges that I went through. But I don't know. It's just it's interesting. It's hard. It's hard to balance that dealing with people. How about you? What do you do?
It is. It really is. I'm feeling that too because I'm thinking about some of my current work in the iterations, like the iterations. My business is a reflection of me, right? So I've changed, I've evolved, and so has my work. And so some of the plans that I have in place, as you mentioned, they began many years ago and they'll probably come to fruition later this year or 2027. When I first wrote my book, it was really funny because I actually started writing that book in 2020.
Mm,
No, let me go back. I think it was 2018. The idea for the story came in 2018. I actually started to pen it in 2019, and then 2020, um, the pandemic hit. So I had time. We were all working from home. I had time to focus on that one thing that I've been incrementally working on. And so I finally had some time where everything in my life was still and I could focus and dedicate and write. And so I finished that book over the next 2 years because it still took time. So I think one of the things that has happened in our day, in our time, is that everything is so immediate. We get immediate results. We can get immediate food. Anything we need is at our beck and call at our convenience. But creativity sometimes and really purpose driven work um, takes time. And so understanding that has been helpful to me in my work as far as making sure that I'm delivering a quality product, a quality talk, a quality event, whatever it may be, taking the time to make sure, taking the necessary time to make sure that everything is done well and done right. And again, that is part of that refusal to abandon myself in the process. I don't think um, the productivity, and again, I have a weird relationship with productivity, and this is why. So I had a student, oh gosh, this just happened this past weekend. So I had a student reach out to me a week or two ago and ask for a recommendation letter for a college scholarship. This is I call him my star student. Really bright. He's at an Ivy League school and he's at the top of his class. And he reached out and asked for a recommendation letter. I wrote the recommendation letter, put my all into it, and I gave it to him. And I said, "Let's talk about it." He had some questions. He wanted to make some changes. Well, at that point, we went back and forth, and we agreed on some adjustments that we would make. So, in so doing, my writing process is not one where I can just sit down and just hurry up and write something and change this and change that. No, I write when the inspiration hits, which is why it took several years for my first book to come out.
mm-hmm.
And writing a recommendation letter is no different. It takes time. So the inspiration did not hit until the evening before it was due. And of course, he's on pins and needles. He's worried it won't get submitted. His parents were worried it would not get submitted. However, that inspiration came as it always does. The task was completed, the letter submitted. I don't know if he's got a scholarship yet, so let's send him good vibes. But that's just part of that understanding that productivity without intention is self neglect. Like I'm not going to neglect my process for the sake of being productive. No, we're going to honor my process. If that makes any sense at all to the rest of the world, it makes perfect sense to me.
Well, I do agree. Being multifaceted requires systems. It requires processes. So to me, those systems and processes prevent that overwhelmed feeling, right? To where you can move from being overwhelmed to now more aligned. So I agree with you 100% that you have your process, you have your system. And that may be one of the boundaries for you, Abena, is that people need to get things to you ahead of schedule so that you're not coming up to the wire as well, depending on what it is, right? Because your process, you need time, especially if you're writing a
Yeah.
recommendation or something like that. You need time. And I'm not saying in this situation that was not what he did. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, but that might be a process that you put in place that you might need to, if you want to get something and you want the best of the best, you need to give a certain timeline in order to get that. And so I agree. I have processes too. I don't do the greatest last minute. If you want me to host an event or run an event or speak at an event or do anything like that, I can make it happen at the last minute. Yes. I would prefer not to do that at the last minute. I want to put the correct time and energy into it. Just like you said, I want it to be excellent, right? I want excellence to come out of it. Not perfection per se, but excellence. It's my brand.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Yeah, it's not about perfection, but
Mm-hmm.
there is a certain quality that is embedded in purpose driven work. And
Yes.
you can tell when someone cares about it. You can tell when they're putting their all in because it's meaningful to them. And you can also tell when it is something they don't care about.
Yes.
So, anyway, yes, I'm saying yes, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, and that's how we move. That's how we work, right? It's again, your brand is your brand. A lot of people when they think about brand, they only think about brand from a standpoint, oh, you're an entrepreneur, so you have your business brand. No, you have a personal brand, whether you want to or not. And your brand is attached by how you move, the
Hmm.
actions, how you interact on social, how you interact in person. Why are you one way in this environment and a totally different way in another environment? Why do you know me in this environment and you shun me in another?
Oh,
Right?
see, look at you. See. But really, there are people that move like that,
Yes,
and it's not okay.
it is not. It is not. And that's why I tend to move a lot in silence because I observe a lot. I only want people around me whose intentions serve the best interests of themselves and of me, align with how my values, the way I move, and all of that, right? I don't want fake people around me. If you can only be my friend in certain environments, my friendship is not conditional. My friendship is unconditional. And when you are going through stuff and acting a fool and out of character, I'm still going to be there with you. When you are on point, I'm still going to be there with you. When you're going through challenges in life, I'm still going to be there with you. If I see you snapping and I just know, yeah, that's not their character, I'm not going to judge you. I'm first going to find out why you snapping, what's going on, because this is not you. So something has had to have happened for you to be this way. But if I call you my friend and if I call you my sis,
Okay, yes.
you
Hmm.
a whole nother level of friend. Because at that point, I've seen you in all the seasons. I've seen you in all your levels of crazy, and I've seen you in all your levels of sane. So I've seen all of it, right? I've seen the good, bad, the ugly, all the words that people use to describe the different ways people show up, right? So I've seen all of that. And if I'm to that level, that's another thing. Also, another thing I'm going to start doing now, people might say this sounds petty, but it's not petty, because remember, I told you that my time management is around decision making and being intentional. If I've supported you throughout the years and you have not reciprocated that back, you get crossed off my list this year.
That's
I'm going to tell you
exactly
why.
right. Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you why. People say, well, that's being petty. You should support. Nope. Because I feel like this. If you were in a relationship, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a partner, and you find that you are the only one doing in that relationship, are you going to stay? And if you do stay, why are you staying? That's the question. But most people, I'm not saying all, because everybody's relationship is different. I'm not trying to put people in a box here, right? But just go with me here for a minute. If you are the type of person who needs it reciprocated back, right? You need to know that we're in this together. We're in a partnership. And you're not feeling that, at some point, it's going to turn to resentment.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you're going to get frustrated and you're going to be like, I don't want to fool with you no more. So when I go in, and you've seen me, when I go in and I support someone and I'm trying to promote you, I will bring you into the spaces. I will give up business and give it to you to launch you. I've done it for many people. My step class will tell you that. I have a great friend. He was launching a couple years ago. I think it was like a month full of fitness training at a discounted price. And I told my class, anybody who buys that, you get my classes for free.
Wow. Okay.
We're going to do this together. I'm going to elevate. I'm going to support him. Not that he needed elevation, because he was elevated already, but I'm going to support him because he's always supported me. And I want you all to have a different experience and not have to break the bank to do it. Mm-hmm. So if that means I lose money for a month, which I really don't, if you think about what you're doing here, because you don't really lose anything. You still have an impact, right? You don't really lose anything doing that. You're strategically planting seeds that will harvest in time. That's how I look at it.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right? But I cannot keep supporting organizations and people who don't support me back. Mm-hmm. I just can't do that anymore. It's just not, I don't have that amount of time anymore to give based on where I'm at. So people are just going to see me move a little bit different. No resentment, no hard feelings, but I've got to preserve my time.
I agree with you 100%. And I have moved like that for quite some time. And it's rather liberating to know that I'm not going to be spread thin and then it not be reciprocated. There is a cost associated with being the reliable person. And like you said, in relationships, in business, out in these streets, there's a cost. Sometimes it might be worth it, but most of the time it's too high a price for me to pay. If I'm repeatedly showing up and supportive of, especially, I won't say especially, of organizations or individuals who don't reciprocate that same thing back, particularly around literacy. Who does not want a literate society? Who does not want cultural understanding? So these are universal concepts that we can all appreciate in my mind. So I was, I've been moving that way for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. And I've got to get to the point where it, again, because of the spaces that I'm in and the amount of work that I do now, and people understand exactly the different talents that I have. I'm in a lot of different spaces. And here's why I get frustrated sometimes too. And I just have to say this. This is my unfiltered podcast. So we're going to go unfiltered for a minute.
Go for it. I'm with you.
I don't understand why people can't do something as simple as writing a testimonial or just sharing something on social or just adding a comment to say great job or great work. but they will be the first ones to remember you when they need you to participate in an event or something like that. Reciprocation doesn't have to be at the same level. Reciprocity can look different based on the scenario.
Yep.
If you say you support, then support. I can't show up in all the rooms. We have too many events that'll be happening all at the same time on the same weekend.
Is that just
And
our city? Is that, I mean,
I
and there's nothing
don't
wrong with
know.
multiple events. I personally think it's healthy. It shows
Mm-hmm.
community is vibrant and engaged and active.
Yeah.
But I mean, good Lord, it's sometimes it can be much, and you have to prioritize where you spend your time and energy.
And sometimes I just can't, because another thing that people don't understand with me, I book out a year in advance. I'm a speaker.
Hmm.
So when you think about conferences, if they're conferences that are really trying to plan appropriately, and if
Hmm.
you're flying somebody somewhere, you're going to be booking out early, right? So a lot of people, I book out. I'm already booked out till June of this year. I was booked out probably last fourth quarter into June this year. Sorry, I can't move like you want me to,
Yeah.
because I've already made these commitments, right? And so I would love to be in a lot of spaces, but girl, sometimes I'm just tired. Do y'all understand? So they say I be trying to kill them doing my fitness, but okay, you all only see me do fitness typically when I'm doing it with my class. You don't see all the other fitness I have to do outside of that to be able to bring that energy to the class. I give you snippets every once in a while, but you don't see me pumping the weight. You don't see me doing cardio. You don't see me struggling at home. You don't see me doing all of those things so I can keep my stamina up to be able to actually train and teach.
Mm.
You don't see us taking all of the courses to make sure that we can do our skill effectively, staying
And
up
that
late
those
at night.
courses, it requires resources and travel a lot of time. They don't see all of the things that go into the preparation. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, some days I'm tired. Some days I just can't make it to 3 events in one day. And I shouldn't feel guilty about that. I've had some people put some slide comments. I be catching it. Put some slide comments on social because they may not have seen me at something. It's not that I don't want to be the trust. I would love to be there. I would love to be at everything. I just cannot. I just cannot. I just can't do it. And so I'm going to be
Hmm.
unapologetically me and move unapologetically. It is what it is. If I can make it there and support you, I'm there. And the thing is I set expectations up front. When I get asked to do something, okay, I'm already involved in X, Y, and Z. You understand this, right? Yeah. Okay. This is all I can give you in this capacity. You got that, right? Yes. Then convenient amnesia seeking. Paula, why aren't you at this? Did I not tell you when we had the initial conversation that this is where I was at? And it has not changed. It hasn't changed. This is still where we're at. And so I think sometimes it's that the pressure. Stop putting pressure on people, y'all. Putting pressure on and stop putting the pressure on yourself. Don't do it. If you just can't be there in spirit. There's many different ways to support. Again, reciprocity can look very different. Sometimes it's just, you know what? I couldn't be at that event. I'm going to support you. I was at the One Voice Business Summit this weekend. I was an MC. I was a panel moderator. I was doing all the different things. There were two vendors there who served amazing food. I found them on Facebook and gave them 5-star reviews because
Mm.
that's how you support, right? The food was fire, right? So that's how you support. I'm going to go because I know as a business owner, their reviews add up. Those reviews add up, whether it's on Facebook, on
Absolutely. Yes,
Google.
they do.
So why would I not go out there and support or at least share? You know, if you have an event coming up, I wanted to be at your WEB Du Bois event. I had a conflict. That was one that I definitely wanted to be at. And then I was upset because I saw how great it was. And I was like, okay, hopefully she does
It
another
was
one.
fantastic. I mean,
She
beyond
does
my
another one.
expectation. It was great. But we're doing another one,
Okay, good.
March 23rd, 7 to 8:30, Asata Shakur.
Oh, that
And we
name
have
sounds, oh,
four
wow.
really outstanding women that are going to be talking about her life and her story and all of the narratives around who she was and is to American society and really to the world.
So is this something that you're going to be doing now, like throughout the year?
It will be something. And I don't have a regular cadence. So it may be um, every month to me feels like a lot. But when the inspiration hits us, we have planned something for August too. August is going to be a really eye-opening moment for Sankofa and the Sankofa family. But yeah, for sure, we want to create space because again, that's part of our mission is creating these spaces, but to create space for dialogue around intellectual traditions, around um, revolution, around family, around
Mm-hmm.
culture, you name it, we want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about it, but we don't want to speak in a silo. We want to speak with people who might disagree, people from other places, other backgrounds who have a different lens than we do. So we try to bring some serious diversity to the table, diverse perspectives to help walk us through these concepts and these individuals and see what happens. And we invite the audience members to contribute as well.
I love that. I love one of the things I do love. I love speaking. And that's funny to me because I used to not love speaking because I used
For
to
real? I
stutter.
cannot
Yeah.
tell that.
I used to stutter, girl. I used to stutter. I
Oh
used to get made fun
no, I
of.
didn't know that.
Yes. I had to, in 2009, I made the decision to overcome my fear and to get out there and to start speaking. And so I love speaking, but I love moderating panels. I
Say
love
less.
moderating panels. I
Let me get on your
love
calendar for 2027.
moderating, yes, panels, because I've been doing that more and more. And the thing that I love about it is a lot of times what the host will do is they'll say, these are all the people that we have on the panel. And they all like have all these differing skills, background, experience, and I get to piece it together like a
Mhm.
puzzle. And that's what I love about it, piecing it together. How do all these things fit? How do they weave? And then getting up there and incorporating the audience and nothing really throws me off. I mean, you can ask the most outlandish question you might think it is, but it's relevant to you. So it's a relevant question. It
Mhm.
doesn't throw me off of, okay, making sure we stay within the theme and making sure that all voices are heard,
Mhm.
even if it's a dissenting voice and all of that. I love doing moderating panels and emceeing events too, but there's something about moderating a panel and just getting all of that insight and
Yeah.
I like to incorporate the audience into the panel. So that's what I did. I was like, so how many of you all are been in business for less than a year? Panelists, how many of you all been in business for less than a year? Okay, let's talk about this for a second. And for those
Yeah.
who have been in business forever, what would you tell these individuals that have been in business less than a year? Because they're embarking on something you've already done.
Mhm.
Right. So it's sort of like just having it to where I like to have the audience feel like they're a part of the panel, not just sitting here watching and whatnot. But there's something to be said about allowing different voices the floor
It's
to be able
important
to say
because we can
something.
see ourselves in totality. If everybody in the room agrees with
Yeah.
each other, you don't really see yourself. Let's pressure test these thoughts and ideas. Let's poke holes in this story. Um, where did you get your information from?
Mm-hmm.
All of this matters and it comes together in such a beautiful way if it's done right. So yeah, I got you on my list for 2027. Thank you.
Yes, you already know if you call. There's certain people that if you reach out to me, I know it's got to be real because and this is why I say that because I know what you all do and I know what work you've put in because a lot of times I've been in a part of that journey. I mean, I've been on all the journey, but I've been a part of that journey and I've been able to see. So there's certain people that if they pop up on my phone, I'll be like, yeah, what you need? You got me.
Oh,
What is it? Right? You're one of those people that if you pop up on the phone, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna do something cool. What's she doing? Like now, because I know this is gonna teach me something too. You're definitely one of those people that when I see your name pop up, I'd be like, yeah, let's. And I would love collaborating. So I was like, yeah, let's collab. Let's collaborate together and make this work. So yes, I would love to be a part of it in 27, but I would also love to come and support your events in 26 so that we are doing a lot more supporting of each other as much as possible, or at least I can send someone your way if I can't get you directly. But did I lose my guess here? Did we lose Abena? We might have lost Abena. Hopefully she's gonna come back. But if she doesn't, I know we're coming up against time anyway. So I just want to say a couple of words before we wrap up, and hopefully she'll jump back on. She probably has some technical difficulties, but I hope this conversation was something that you appreciated today. We talked about a lot of different things. And again, this is life without the filter. So we talk about all sort of things. All of us have challenges. All of us have situations that cause us to think maybe differently. I look at my podcast as a place where I can just be authentic and real with those who listen. I do have challenges too. I know you might think I have it all together, but I don't always have it all together. Being multifaceted isn't about doing more, it's about becoming more intentional. And so when you understand your purpose, like you heard Abena and I talk about, when you understand how to protect your energy, like you heard us talk about, and align your time with truly what matters, the balance comes. It becomes something that you almost want and chase because it's something that allows you to live. It's something that allows you to thrive. And time management isn't about controlling the clock. It's about honoring the life you're building. So you have to make sure that in everything you do is intentional. Move from that overwhelm to alignment. Because when you get to that alignment piece, that overwhelm decreases. There are some days you're still going to be overwhelmed, but it's going to decrease. And so I've been great to have you back. I was jumping in here because I know we all you got to love tech, right? You just got to love tech. Any parting words that you want to leave those who might be listening now or who will listen to this in the future with concerning balance, concerning time management, concerning overwhelm, alignment? What you got for us?
Well, thank you. First, thank you, Paula, for just being who you are, and for being a bright light for me in my professional journey, as well as, just out here in these streets. I see you and I admire you, and I
Aww.
love everything about you. So thank you, and don't you ever stop. Um, Business life has really, excuse me, changed how I see time and concepts of time. So I wrote down three little notes that I want to leave the audience, who may be watching now or may catch it later. First, in terms of balance, I don't think that balance is necessarily doing everything, but it is deciding what gets access to you.
Mm.
Secondly, one thing, my refrain that I give over and over, and I tell myself this, is I refuse to abandon myself. So I would encourage anyone who finds that valuable, you can have it. Refuse to abandon yourself. And then lastly, um, I called myself a worker bee earlier, and as soon as I said it, I regretted it. So I'm going to change that, because productivity without intention is just socially acceptable self neglect.
Ooh.
So don't neglect yourself, don't abandon yourself, and take really good care to decide what gets access to you. And I love and appreciate you, Paula.
Well, I don't know. That was amazing. I love that last one. That last one. You got to say that again. Say that one more time. Because for those in the back who may not have heard you, that third point, say it one more time.
I'll read it word for word. Okay. Productivity without intention is just socially acceptable self neglect.
Mm, listen to that, y'all. Listen, socially acceptable self neglect. So you have to be intentional. That's the word, intentionality. Intentional and consistency. You have to be intentional and consistent with that intentionality. Because the minute you're not consistent, that's when people are going to come in and say, well, you didn't do it this way this time because you weren't consistent with it. Right. So I love that. I love all of that. So Amina, you're doing great work. You're doing great work here in Iowa. And I'm quite sure you could be doing great work across the
Thank
nation
you.
as well that I'm probably
Thank
not even
you.
aware of.
We're in this together.
We definitely are. So how can people stay connected with you? How can people find out more about the amazing things that you're doing?
Yes. Well, absolutely. My website, abenasankofa.com. And then find me on Instagram and Facebook, the Sankofa Literary and Empowerment Group page on Facebook, and the official Sankofa on Instagram.
I love it. I love it. And you can follow me right here for Sensei Speaks. You can follow me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Pod. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can find me every and anywhere, honestly. You want to go to my website, just go to paulaabell.com and you can find me there. It's 2 A's in the middle, though. If you just do paulabell.com, it will not be me. So I just need to put that out there. But thank you, everyone, for just joining us today for this much needed conversation, especially in the world that we live in today. It's rough out here, y'all. We know it's rough out here. There's a lot of things going on that's not the norm. We understand that. And so, right now, being able to have your time and your balance and protecting your energy, protecting your peace is really, really important. So, we hope that you got some tidbits today. That's a wrap for this episode. To keep the conversation going, though, go ahead and subscribe to our channels, turn on notifications so you know when we go live. And of course, leave comments. We will answer them at any point in time. We would love to hear from you. But more importantly, protect your peace, honor your purpose, and always speak your truth, whether people want to hear that truth or not. And with that, we're going to call it a wrap. Abena, don't you go anywhere. I would like to reconnect with you here in a moment. But for everyone else, we'll see you at the next Sensei Speaks.